Hello everyone, I'm Devin and I read books, and this is Devin Reads Books, and today I got my N64 hoodie on, my Misfits beanie, because we're going to talk about Old School April. Now if you don't know, Old School April is a readathon put on every year by Kelsey over at Slime and Slashers. This will be my first year partaking in the event, and I'm really excited. So let's get into the books I picked for April. So starting off April 1st, whether I finish the book I'm currently reading or not, I'll put it on pause, is we're going to start with Autumn Crow High, Fresh Hell. Now, this is from Cameron Chaney over at Library Macabre. He's one of my favorite booktubers by far. He does a ton of different horror stuff, and this was kind of written to be almost like Fear Street. So it takes place in the 90s. Bailey Haig is plagued by nightmares, blood-soaked visions of a boy seemingly from another time. He's so handsome, so dark, so deadly. When Bailey returns to school in the fall, she's horrified to learn that the boy from her dreams is real and is attending Autumn Crow High. Are her dreams a warning or some kind of premonition? Has the boy truly escaped her nightmares? Only time will tell. So yeah, it's supposed to be kind of in the vein of Fear Street. Everyone that I have seen that has read this since it came out has really liked it, so I'm very excited to dive into it as soon as the event starts on April 1st. As for the prompt, I think I could use it for Larger Than Life. Maybe. No, it is just barely too short, I think. There's a prompt, I'm trying to find a specific name. Let's read a book that takes place in the 90s, and that's going to be this one right here. The next book is going to be for the Monster Squad, or Animal Attack, I think is the correct prompt. But it's going to be The Nest by Gregory Douglas. Now this is a paperback from hell. It was featured in Grady Hendrix's book, and this is a Valancourt reprint. And I love it because it's properly sized. The Barnes & Noble ones that you get in store are much larger. But Cameron's book is sized right after the original paperbacks from hell. So they are almost identical. Now this is an Animal Attack book that I've never read, but basically it's just a little peaceful Cape Cod town that's perfect breeding conditions for this swarm of cockroaches that terrorize the town. This is one of my favorite genres of horror. I grew up watching these kinds of movies on the Sci-Fi Channel, and I'm very excited to dive into this. I don't know if I'll do it right after I read Fresh Hell. I might want a little break from horror, but I might not. I've kind of been on a horror pause, been reading a lot of fantasy lately, so blitzing out two of them might really help. My third book is for the, where's that? Not Willow. The X-Files prompt, and that is to read a sci-fi book or a book with science elements. And I'm going to choose Star Wars, The Republic Commando 000, or Republic Commando 000 rather. So this is the second book in the Republic Commando series. The Clone Wars era is probably my favorite era of Star Wars in general. Even though now this is Legends and not particularly canon, I love these books. It's about a squad of clone commandos kind of leading up from the beginning of the Clone Wars until the fourth book is actually Order 66. I'm very excited to read this one. The first one was great. This one is Omega Squad is rushed to Coruscant, the war's most dangerous hotspot. They discover they're not the only ones penetrating the heart of the enemy. Surge's separatist attacks has been traced to a network of separatist terror cells in the capital, masterminded by Mole and Command headquarters. And obviously they have to identify and destroy the spy and get everything under control back on Coruscant. I could also use this as my book that is more than 300 pages. I don't remember, Larger Than Life. I believe you can stack prompts. I'd have to double check. I might do that. If so, If not, then I'm definitely going to use this for the sci-fi because I have another couple. I have another larger book. For my next book, we're going to go for the Killer Clowns prompt. It's not horror related, but it is The Clown Watches the Clock by Micah Schnabel. So he's the lead singer of a band that I really like, and this is very much a contemporary fiction. I really enjoyed his other book, Hello, My Name is Henry, and this book it's a little weird. It's kind of about a clown who has spent his whole adult life kind of chasing childhood and trying to remain positive in a world that's becoming overwhelmingly negative and stressful. And he's trying to retain that little bit of childhood, childlike happiness and joy, and positivity. His books and his music really are very much kind of, I don't know how to describe it, very Bruce Springsteen-y, kind of pushing the envelope while also really telling like Americana type of stories. So I'm really excited to dive into this. Unfortunately, if for whatever reason I can't get through this list, this will probably be the one that gets bumped to the back, and I'll end up reading it in May. But hopefully that won't be the case. Not all of these are particularly big, so I'm hoping that I can nag another prompt, Killer Clowns, and get another pendant for the team. Also, I joined Blue Barracudas, so if you have not signed up yet, you should do that and join the Blue Barracudas. So for the Willow prompt, which is read a fantasy book, this is a little odd. I am reading A Forest of Vanity and Valor by A.P. Beswick. This is book 1 of his Levanthria series. I had never heard about this before. It came up on a Facebook ad. It looked interesting, so I bought the first one, and I'm hoping to give it a try. Apparently it's based on like English folklore and Robin Hood in a way, but kind of a more anti-hero villainy to kind of unexpected hero. Hero Reinhold relishes collecting his monarch's proper dues, working hard to prolong and fund the king's never-ending war. Self-centered official revels in the perks of luxury that come with his unorthodox role. His world upends when he unearths an ancient spellbook that promises to unlock a shadowy forgotten magic. Embroiled in a secret affair with the fellow noble's wife, Virio is mortified when he's forced to commit an unthinkable act. Driven into exile, no longer able to coerce the vulnerable and with the powerful tome in his enemy's hand, the fallen agent's only shot at survival hangs on his skills at saving others. So it sounds interesting. I'm willing to give it a try. It's less than 300 pages, so it shouldn't be too difficult to fit in and stag another pendant for the Willow prompt. And I might be able to apply 1 or 2 more after that. Alright, my last book, at least that I have pre-picked, it's kind of cheating. It's kind of a 3-in-1, but it is Fear Street True Evil in the Bound collection. So this is the first evil, the second evil, and the third evil. Corky and Bobby Corcoran would do anything to make the cheerleading squad at Shady Side high. They're good, and they know they deserve to be on the team, but right after they nab their spots and pick up those pom-poms, terrible things start happening. The horror begins with a mysterious accident near the Fear Street Cemetery. Soon after, screams echo through the empty school halls, and the terror really begins. Something sinister is brewing on Fear Street, and it seems the deaths are just getting started. So this has a lot of positive reviews. I've read a good amount of Fear Street just from growing up, and now I'm kind of slowly making my way through the series, but I never read any of the True Evil books. So for this prompt, there's one that is for reading Fear Street specifically. Yeah, throwback. However, I could also use this for the larger than life, and then there is another one that is for a even larger book. At least I thought there was. I could be wrong about that. Either way, there are a few different options. Retro Vintage, read a book published before 2005. These were originally published before 2005. Read a book from the year, decade you were born. I'd have to actually double check, but I'm pretty sure all three of the True Evil books were printed in the 90s. But yeah, I could also do larger than life. And with that, those are my scheduled books. Excuse me. I'm really excited to do this readathon. I've never done one before. We've been chatting in the Discord. It's been great communicating with everybody, talking about different books we're going to read. Buddy reads. I think we're doing Fresh Hell that first week. Old School April watches, which we'll get into in just a minute. Hello everybody and welcome back. I hope you enjoyed that little tease of my bookshelf. I want to do a more in-depth kind of video going through everything, but I have a little bit more organizing to do. I want to change the lighting in here a little bit before that. And yeah, so without further ado, let's get into the movies, shows, and games I'm going to be trying to play for Old School April. So starting off, we're going to just go with a few movies here that I got in the last year. Actually, there are more that I'm going to try to watch that I don't actually own physically right now, such as WNUF Halloween Special and its sequel. I don't remember the title of it. It's different. I really want to watch those, as well as the final Hell House LLC movie. As for what I do own, I'm going to start with Dog Soldiers. This is the collector's edition from Scream Factory. I love this movie so much. I was a Sci-Fi Channel freak as a kid, and they used to play this all the time. It means so much to me. It's really well done, too. Probably one of my favorite werewolf costumes. So I'm really excited to dive into this for Old School April. After that, I'm going to rewatch Silver Bullet. If you haven't seen this, is based on a Stephen King book about a werewolf kind of coming and attacking a small town, and this kid in a wheelchair trying to stop it. It's so campy. It's so good. The ending is great. I don't want to spoil anything, but yeah, it's incredible. I really enjoy this movie a lot. And then finally, because there is a tag called Monster Squad, although it's for books, we're gonna watch The Monster Squad. I love this movie so much. I watched it the first time in 2015 or 16, and it's just incredible. All of the monsters are the Universal monsters, but like legally distinct. So they look slightly different, but they did such a good job of the designs. The kids are horrible. Like they're total misfits that are like friends because they don't get along with any of them. The greaser kid is kind of a tool. It's incredible. It's such a great movie, and it also includes the documentary based around the movie called Wolfman's Got Nards. It's kind of a documentary about the movie and in memoriam for one of the actors who did unfortunately pass away at a young age. So I'm really excited to dive back into this. Before I get into shows, I want to go over a couple shows that I don't own physically, but I am definitely going to be watching. The original X-Men cartoon, for sure. I haven't watched that since probably 2003, and it's on Disney Plus, so I want to watch that, as well as the 90s Spider-Man cartoon. I can't remember the specific name of it. Probably know which one I'm talking about. It was on Fox Kids all the time, and those two are definitely making the list. There are some other like classic Disney stuff that I kind of want to watch, and I might try to fit in, because every night in April I'm going to try to watch an hour or two of some kind of retro show. I probably won't actually finish anything, but I want to... It's about the nostalgia. It's about the feelings. It's about really diving back in. If I could watch these in a way that had like vintage commercials mixed in, oh, I would be so happy. But without further ado, we're going to get into the live action. So one of the first live action series I want to dive back into for Old School April is Power Rangers Ninja Storm. Last year I watched, it was actually might have been the year before last, I watched all of Dino Thunder again. I've been getting through RPM, and so I want to dive back into Ninja Storm. I watched probably the Zordon era, so the first like I don't think that's right, 6 seasons or so of Power Rangers. Mighty Morphin all the way to the end of In Space, pretty regularly throughout the year. It's just so good, so campy. I love tokusatsu in general, but I definitely want to dive into Ninja Storm. And then for Christmas, my mom and stepfather actually got me these Goosebumps DVDs. 3 of them. They have 2 episodes on them. This one is Perfect School, My Friend is Invisible. This is Cry of the Cat, and Say Cheese and Die. And Say Cheese and Die was actually one of my favorite Goosebumps books when I was younger. And it came from Beneath the Sink and Deep Trouble. And Deep Trouble, I was really disappointed by when I got it from the library when I was 8 or 9 or so. We were going on vacation. I was fully expecting the shark to mean something and to play a pivotal role and to maybe like be the big monster, and I was really disappointed. R.L. Stine let me down in that. So now we're going to get into animation, starting with anime. So I want to rewatch Robotech, and then I don't own it physically, but also Record of Lodoss War. These are both 80s and 90s animes. Robotech specifically is kind of weird. It's a little bit of a mess. It's based on Macross, which is the Japanese version, but it's kind of clipped and smushed together and around, so a lot of stuff has changed and it doesn't make as much sense. I still really love it. I'm not a big Gundam guy or anything, but I love the design of the Valkyries, which I don't know if you can see it from the back. The animation is just great, especially for its time. If you haven't seen it before, kind of Earth is attacked, and so all these people go to live on this massive warship while they're trying to prepare for another assault, and then you have these pilots that are fighting the Zentradi, the alien invaders. I need to get part 2. I didn't get it when it was new, and now I feel like it's going to be really hard to find, but the Macross saga is a really good start. I've already started rewatching it, but Pokemon the series Diamond and Pearl, I actually have just everything up until X and Y on DVD, but it's also on Amazon Prime. A lot of it is under free. I think some of it's under freebie, some of it is just Prime, and then some of it is the Pokemon channel on Prime, which is just $2.99. So I've been going through Diamond and Pearl. This is my favorite era of Pokemon. It's my favorite region. So I love the designs of this region more than any other, and I really like the animation. I think the only seasons I might like more than this is Black and White, because of the quality of the animation is just so much more incredible. So I'm really excited to dive back into a few episodes every night onto that. The next one is Hajime no Ippo. This is a old anime about a kid who's kind of getting into boxing. It's a sports anime. I really love it. It's one of my favorites for sure. Honestly, really surprised the dub is as good as it is for its time. I haven't watched all of it. I've seen Volume 1 and about half of Volume 2, but I need to watch the rest of it so I can see how everything ends. The last anime I want to try to dive into is Legendary Armor Samurai Troopers. It is also known as Ronin Warriors. Although it is kind of the Robotech treatment, things were kind of smushed around, rebranded. It's kind of Power Rangers with samurai armor, man. I don't really know how to describe it better than that. I don't think I'm going to get through all 39 episodes and all 3 OVAs, but I really love this series a lot, and since Funimation is now not a thing, and Crunchyroll hasn't imported all their libraries yet, I will have to crack open my DVDs and check that out. There's one more live action show that I've been kind of watching again throughout this whole year. It's like 15 seasons, so it's not going to be something I finish in April in any way. But I have been rewatching ER and Seventh Heaven. I can't remember the TikToker's name, but if if you just look up Seventh Heaven on Instagram right now, this guy is gonna show you how crazy this show was, and he is 110% correct, man. Show is wild. If you haven't heard of it, it's kind of a faith-based teen family sitcom drama-y thing, kind of like Secret Life of the American Teenager, but in the 90s. And then ER is great. It's honestly, I think it is a worlds better than Grey's Anatomy in terms of being a medical drama. I watch ER a few times every couple years. I try to get through it once a year like I do Percy Jackson or Aragon, but it just doesn't always work out that way because it ran from like 1994 to 2009. So we're going to try to fit those in, and finally, my girlfriend got me this last year, and I've been slowly making my way through it, but it fits so perfectly. Courage the Cowardly Dog. This show is probably the reason that I like horror half as much as I do. The slab episode, everyone always remembers, very creepy to me, but the one that traumatized me the most is the one with I think it was 4, it might have been 5 spiders, and there's a scene where one of them comes out of the faucet, and terrified to this day. It's probably why I'm terrified of spiders in general. As for non-movies, I have to grab it. Give me just a moment. Okay, so I don't have my limited run collector's edition available right now, but one of the first games we're going to run through is going to be Castlevania Symphony of the Night. If you haven't played this is just an incredible Metroidvania. Super good for the time. You've probably seen the memes of, "What is a man? A miserable pile of secrets," or some variation of therein. And then the other game, they're both horror. I'm only going to try to really get through horror games this month because I got a lot I want to read and a lot I want to watch. And I do have stuff I have to outside of work, unfortunately. But we are also playing, and I've already started this morning, Resident Evil 0. Kind of the black sheep in the series. Well, maybe not compared to Resident Evil 6, but a lot of people didn't really like Resident Evil 0 when it came out. It's short, it's concise, it doesn't add a ton, but it sets up the first game very well, and I really enjoy it. I really like the characters, Billy and Rebecca, respectively. And I've played it a lot. I played it a lot on the original GameCube, so the updated version has been just so nice. I've been able to kind of just blow through it. In classic Resident Evil fashion, it is extremely easy to die. It is extremely hard to find enough ammunition, and the knife is overpowered. If you haven't played Resident Evil 0, one of the biggest tips I can give you is when you fight the Scorpion, stab him. It's gonna hurt. It's gonna hurt. You might want to shoot him first. You want to push him as far back as you can so the camera angles don't flip, because unfortunately it is a fixed camera angle game. But then you want to take your knife and just stab him repeatedly, and you will be able to stun. If you do it correctly and you got him pushed all the way back, you will stun lock him and win. I promise you, it is absolutely crazy, but that's how it works. The Resident Evil knives are just broken. In the original Resident Evil 4, that was also how you cheesed the Krauser fight. But anyway, guys, I'm really excited for Old School April. I'm going to dive back into all of this nostalgia. It's going to be a very nice break of some of the monotony of my job and then having to code in my free time to try and build that resume out. I'm also going to be participating in Sick Sad April over on Instagram. I've already engaged with so many people in the Old School April community, and like the booktube side of Instagram and the horror side of Instagram, and I'm just really, really excited to talk to people more on the Discord and in all these various groups. I am doing the Fresh Hell read-along, which is Cameron Chaney's book. Do I have it right here? No, it's over here. This is written by Cameron Chaney over at Library Macabre. I'm going to plug him again. He's one of my favorite content creators. He does a lot of, not just booktube, there's a lot of book content, but there's a lot of general horror content too. And even like what can be described as like cozy horror vlogs. He's incredible, and I love his work, and I'm really excited to dive into this with everyone in the community. This is going to be my first read. I am already a couple chapters in, not super far. I'm hoping to get through that deeper tonight. I do have some other stuff I got to do first. I'm really excited. I hope you'll join along. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I will see you guys next time.